This video is for entertainment purposes only. Let's roll. Alright guys, what's up? So, anyway, oh, I started seeing this topic going around, swirling around on the internet and on the news too, on the mainstream news. And it was about kidults, which is like kid adults. I've heard people refer to them as man babies, guys that kind of refuse to grow up, so they I don't know. It's but they were saying specifically, some sources were saying specifically men that still buy toys into their 40s, and that there's men that aren't working and living with their mom or their dad into their 30s and 40s, and they're buying toys still, and I thought to myself, this is new. This is worthy of publication. This is worthy of putting in the news. And this is worthy of actually people taking time out of their day to just actually go on like I'm doing now. I'm actually kind of one of those people by just even discussing this and putting this on here. So, but anyway, they're talking about these guys in their 40s that still buy toys, and how adults were like one of the number one drivers for toys this year. And I forgot what it was. Like the figure, I got some of the points here on my phone, and it was like, what does this said? It was but anyways, I was gonna say I was trying to find the numbers, but it was somewhere in the billions. The kid, like adults buying toys, is somewhere in the billions. And I thought to myself, well, that's kind of me, because actually, like, my mom and I went out to eat for the first time. We ate at a restaurant for the first time in like 2.5 years because of COVID, and we stopped off at the mall. They were selling Hot Wheels cars, and we had these Hot Wheel cars, like a stack of 5 for like $6.75 a piece. So we bought 3 of those, just kind of something to open up, kind of make it more like Christmas, And then, what else? What else we got? We got some GI Joes over at Target. I got one of the Python Patrol. I guess that's the Target exclusive. I guess that's what's supposed to be the 6-inch classified GI Joe. I bought a Baroness. I bought a Viper, and I bought a, what was the other guy I bought? The Bat, the robot guy. And then I had 2 Crimson Guards that are on their way from Amazon. And then so anyways, I was listening. I decided to go do a search on this stuff, and I'm finding reasons for people making videos about this stuff. People making videos about this stuff. I want to kind of see what their reasons were, and I guess it was just a good topic to talk about it. The median home price, which was $428,700, really probably didn't help. It probably doesn't really help when you take away an ability for a guy to, or a girl, or even a woman. So there's some women that are doing this too. But for a guy to, keep up with the Joneses, I mean, a suitor or a woman isn't going to really, I don't think is really going to like a guy who like they're all just saying is live in their mom's basement, So it's like, well, the dude's going to do something, and so he's going to turn to a hobby, which is maybe like these things, because you think about it. You think about something funny though. What for Generation X or people my age, what this stuff does is it takes us back to a time when everything was going to be obtainable. In other words, we knew that we had our childhoods and we would play with this stuff, but someday we would own a home like our parents did. Someday we would have a job that we wanted to do and that paid well. Someday we would have a car, and someday we would have a family. But it didn't go that way very well, did it? For everybody, did it? No. Kind of wound up, I don't know. I mean, people work in retail. A lot of the productive capacity got sent overseas. You got to find somebody that wants to hire you, right? I mean, it's in the end of the day, it's not like it's say, oh, you could be anything you want to be. No, we're actually going to be what other people want to give us in the way of opportunity. Okay, I don't just walk into a firm and decide to start working there. No, I have to be given the job. You have to be given the chance. And it just didn't really pan out for everybody. But there was a time when it did, and things like G.I. Joe were in that time period in the 80s when everything looked very optimistic, and everybody thought, well, yeah, we got a future. We one of these days we'll be out doing something worthwhile and owning a home and having a family and doing these sorts of things. And it's like, and if it didn't go that way, well, like I say, people have to have a hobby. This stuff kind of reminds them of the way it was. And it's kind of easy, I think, for a lot of, at least on the conservative side, I always kind of branded myself as a conservative, but then sometimes I see the weird things that they do, like how they kind of come out of nowhere and just like demonizing or kind of poking fun at a certain group of people as like, I don't know, okay. It's just kind of like, I don't know, don't you have anything going, concerning our Second Amendment rights to report on, or don't you have anything concerning the omnibus to report on, or don't you have anything concerning some of the scandals to report on? It's like, well, we're going to talk about dudes in their 40s that still like to buy action figures. I don't know. We just think that makes us feel good to kind of do that. But you know what I really think the real reason is? Because when it all settles, we're going to be the most well invested. We're going to be the most well asseted. And I'm not talking about the toys. No, I mean the toys. I'm not talking about the toys. I'm talking about, in the way of our investments, in the way of our acquiring of assets, in the way of our acquiring of things of value, that we're probably going to be in a very good position, being that we didn't have to go through a divorce. A lot of us didn't have to get a divorce. I mean, there's guys on their third divorce. Like, how the heck does a guy survive financially 3 divorces, and maybe let's add a couple DUIs into the mix? How does somebody get through that and still get up and earn a paycheck for themselves? I mean, how did they stay hired? I'm just wondering how is that supposed to work? I can never see how that's supposed to work. How that could be, how somebody would how society would give somebody like that a second chance. I don't see how that would do it. But I guess we give second chances all the time. In fact, they seem to like that guy more than they like someone like me that that stays on the straight and narrow. Okay, so, but anyway, after seeing this, I thought, you know what I need? After hearing all this news about kidults, I guess this is the word they thought of. I need a Zaymot and a Tomax, which is the twin brothers that work for Cobra. And I'm going to put them this way. Actually, I think they used to come in originally this way, as the little bracers faced out. They used to get them in a pack of 2 back in the day. They were the 3.5 inch action figures to get a pack of 2. I noticed the guns kind of changed a bit. They now have it looks like an H&K MP5K with some sort of Chris daggers with holsters for their daggers. They have a detachable magazine and a suppressor. And what it was is Tomax and Zaymot. One of them, of course, they're mirror equivalents. So if you put one in like facing each other, it's like the other guy's looking at the other guy in the mirror, except one has a scar in their face. Which one has the scar? Yeah, Zaymot has the scar on the side of his cheek there. I think it even canted his head slightly so you can see it when you're looking at the packaging. But that's how you tell the difference. And in the cartoon, they used to like be in a corporate headquarters and wear suits. And it's kind of interesting because, come to think of it, growing up, I had the actual G.I. Joes and stuff, but this time around, all I've ever bought was Cobra. And I've used to do this a few times through the years where, my mom would bring me some G.I. Joes just kind of for fun. And I there was a time where I was actually too big for toys. I was too grown for toys. I was pursuing a career. I just kind of lost interest in that stuff. It wasn't important to me anymore. And in the late 1990s, it was actually kind of wish I would have stayed with G.I. Joe because of the Iron Grenadiers and the War on Drugs themed G.I. Joes and the Chemical Corps G.I. Joes. And I kind of missed a lot in the G.I. Joe franchise. And I right now I got a couple Prophet Destros and a couple of regular Cobra Island troopers. But I thought about Army building the Crimson Guard. And then all of a sudden, I'm funny as I'm thinking about Army building the Crimson Guard, then this whole kidults thing came in. I thought, I gotta make a video about this. But hate on your G.I. Joes, don't worry about the haters. Just let the haters worry about you.